Hello there, and welcome back. Wherever you are right now, I wonder if you might take a moment, just a small, quiet moment. Are you settled in for the evening? Perhaps tucked into bed with the lights turned down low. Here on Sleep Documentary TV, we like to take these slow, calm journeys for the mind. We don't rush. We simply wander and let our thoughts drift. If you find this quiet journey soothing, if it brings a little peace to your mind, perhaps consider letting us know with a gentle press of the like button or by subscribing. Tonight our journey begins with a simple question. A thought that drifts in like a cloud on a summer's day. It isn't a problem to be solved or a challenge to be met. It is just a gentle wondering. What if we didn't need to sleep? Imagine that. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and just let that thought settle. Imagine a world where the very concept of sleep is a relic of a distant biological past. A world without beds, without lullabies, without the slow, heavy feeling of eyelids growing tired. A world where the day does not end because it never has to. In our world, the rhythm of life is dictated by the sun and the moon, a rhythm of waking and a rhythm of sleeping. We rise, we live, we work, we play, and then we must rest. Our bodies and our minds demand it. It is a time for our brains to process emotions and consolidate memories, a time for our cells to repair themselves. It is a fundamental, non-negotiable part of our existence. About a third of our lives spent in this other state, this quiet, mysterious realm of dreams. But in the world we are about to visit, that necessity has simply vanished. Humanity, through some gentle, unseen shift in its very nature, has evolved beyond it. The need for sleep has faded away like a forgotten dream upon waking. What would that world feel like? At first it might seem like a paradise of productivity, a dream come true for a world that always feels short on time. Imagine having all 24 hours of a day, every day, no more 8 hours lost to the unconscious. Your life, in a sense, would double. A person of 70 years in our world might now live a life with the richness and experience of someone of 140. The time to write that book, to learn that language, to simply be with the people you love, it would all be there, endlessly stretching out before you. Think of your own day. Perhaps you work for 8, 9, even 12 hours. You commute. You take care of your family, your home. And after all of that, you are left with maybe 4 or 5 precious hours for yourself before the profound need for rest pulls you under. But what if that pull was gone? What if after a long day of work you felt not fatigue but a fresh, boundless energy? One day full of energy followed by another and another, no reset required, no nightly shutdown. You could work and then exercise and then spend hours with your family and then meet your friends and then travel through the quiet hours that were once night, all without a single yawn. The world would be remade by this simple change. The very rhythm of society, of culture, of life itself would be rewritten. The great cities would never dim their lights. The factories and offices would never fall silent. The global hum of human activity would become a constant, unbroken symphony. Can you picture it? The endless potential, the sheer exhilarating freedom of time, a lifetime that is truly, fully lived, every single moment of it. But as we begin to drift into this sleepless world, we might also begin to wonder about the other side of this coin. What is lost when we gain so much? What is the shadow cast by this perpetual light? Life, as we know it, is a tapestry of contrasts, light and dark, sound and silence, waking and sleeping. These cycles give our lives texture, a rhythm. Sleep is not just an absence of being awake. It is its own world, a place of dreams, of rest, of quiet renewal. It is the pause that makes the music beautiful. In a world of endless energy, where no one ever gets tired, how would we learn to stop? If fatigue no longer tells us to leave one activity and choose another, what would? How would we make choices, create chapters in our lives if one moment flowed into the next, unbroken for years on end? And what of boredom, that feeling we so often try to escape? Perhaps boredom is a gift, a signal from our minds that it is time for a change, time to seek out something new, something curious. If we could fill every moment with activity, would we ever feel the gentle, creative push of being bored? These are the quiet questions we will explore together tonight. We will not be looking for definitive answers. We will simply imagine together. We will paint a picture of this strange and wondrous new world in all its light and all its shadow. We will walk its ever-lit streets, meet its ever-awake people, and feel the rhythm of a planet that never ever sleeps. So, take a deep breath. Let the sounds of your world fade into the distance. Let the weight of your day begin to lift. We are just at the beginning of our journey, standing at the edge of a world that is both familiar and utterly alien. And as we take our first steps into this sleepless reality, we find ourselves looking not at the people but at the world they have built, a planet remade in the image of their own endless energy. Imagine we are floating high above this new earth. From this vantage point, it looks much like our own. The same blue oceans, the same swirling white clouds, the same patchwork of green and brown continents. But as we drift closer, we begin to notice something different. The dark side of the planet isn't dark anymore. Where there should be a vast blanket of shadow, there is instead a delicate, intricate web of light, a filigree of gold and silver threads that crisscross the continents like glowing veins. The great cities are no longer isolated pools of luminescence, but blazing hubs from which light spills out in every direction, connecting to other cities, tracing the paths of ceaseless traffic along glowing highways. The planet hums with a light that is entirely its own, a testament to a species that has conquered the night. Let us drift down closer to one of these continents. The air itself feels different here. It feels alive. There is a constant low-frequency thrum that you can feel in your bones, the aggregated sound of a world that never stops moving. It is the sound of vehicles on roads that are always full, of factories that never cease production, of construction that continues hour after hour, day after day. The concept of rush hour is a forgotten term because every hour is rush hour. The sky above the cities is not black or even a deep indigo. It is a soft, permanent twilight of orange, pink, and gray, a phenomenon of perpetual light pollution that has erased the stars from view for all but the most remote corners of the globe. For most people in this world, the moon is a pale, silvery smudge, and the Milky Way is a legend from ancient storybooks, a sight their ancestors once knew. They have traded the cosmos for the glow of their own relentless creation. Let's follow one of those glowing highways away from the blazing heart of a metropolis. We pan slowly over the landscape. The countryside has been transformed. Fields of genetically modified crops designed to grow under the cool blue-white glare of powerful LED lamps stretch for miles. They are tended by automated machines that crawl across the land in a never-ending 24-hour cycle of planting, watering, and harvesting. The world's demand for food, for energy to fuel its sleepless inhabitants is insatiable. The rivers and waterways are different too. They are arteries of industry, their banks lined with power plants, geothermal, fusion, tidal, all working to quench the planet's monumental thirst for energy. Barges and cargo ships, automated and silent, glide along these waters in an unbroken chain, their lights making the rivers look like flowing streams of stars, a mirror to the galaxy that is no longer visible above. What would the sounds be in such a place? The constant hum is the bass line, the canvas upon which other sounds are painted. You would hear the distant rhythmic clang of industry, the perpetual whisper of tires on pavement, and the layered overlapping sounds of life. Music from a park where people are dancing at what we would call 4 in the morning. The laughter of children on a playground lit by soft artificial sunlight at an hour we would have once called midnight. The chime of a tram, its windows filled with bright, awake faces, gliding through a suburb where no light is ever turned off. The very idea of a home has changed. We drift over a residential district from the outside. The buildings might look familiar, but their internal rhythm is alien. There are no bedrooms. The concept of a room dedicated solely to unconsciousness is absurd here. Homes are designed with active zones and quiet zones, places for intense activity and social gathering, and other spaces designed for solitude, for waking rest, a new form of deep meditation that has become essential for mental well-being in a world without sleep. Windows are not covered at night because there is no night to shut out. They are portals to a world that is always on, always moving. And let's pan further to the wilder places, the great forests, the mountains, the deserts. These have become the last bastions of true darkness, sanctuaries for the quiet that has been banished from the civilized world. But even here, the influence of the sleepless world is felt. The edges of the forests are bathed in the eternal twilight from the nearest city. The skies above the remote mountain peaks are never truly dark. The climate itself has begun to shift. This constant planet-wide expenditure of energy has raised the Earth's ambient temperature. The polar ice caps have shrunk and the weather patterns have become more extreme. Humanity, with its doubled lifetime of activity, has accelerated its impact on the planet exponentially. They are a species burning their candle at both ends, and the world itself is the candle. The air in these places smells different. In the cities, it's a mix of ozone from the transport systems, the scent of food from vendors cooking every hour of the day and night, and the sterile, filtered air pumped out of the massive arcology buildings. And in the countryside, the air smells of soil that is never left to lie fallow, of fertilizers and the metallic tang of hard-working machinery. The world feels intensely, overwhelmingly full of light, full of sound, full of movement. There is no pause button, no moment of collective quiet, no shared experience of the world settling down for the night. It is a world of incredible efficiency and staggering output, a world where anything that can be done is being done at all times. But as we slowly pan across this glowing, humming, ceaseless landscape, we can't help but feel a sense of something lost. The gentle rhythm of day and night is a deep, primal clock, and in rewriting that clock, humanity has transformed its planet into something powerful, something brilliant, but perhaps something a little less magical. The physical world has been reshaped by this endless energy, but what of the living things within it? How does life itself, which for billions of years has evolved to the rhythm of the sun, adapt to a world where the day never ends? As we move our focus from the transformed planet to the life upon it, we find that the biological world is in a state of profound confusion. For eons, life has danced to the rhythm of light and darkness. The circadian rhythm, that deep internal clock, is etched into the DNA of almost every living thing. And now, in a world of perpetual twilight and endless human activity, that ancient dance has been disrupted. Let's begin with the plants. In the wild forests, those that border the ever-lit civilizations, a silent struggle is taking place. Trees and flowers that evolved to open and close with the sun are now bathed in a constant, dim glow. Some fail to pollinate, their flowers remaining stubbornly shut or open at the wrong times. The animals, too, are struggling to find their rhythm. The clear line between nocturnal and diurnal creatures has blurred into a fuzzy, indistinct mess. Predators who once hunted under the cover of darkness now find their advantage gone. Prey who relied on the night to hide are now constantly exposed. Imagine a deer stepping out into a forest clearing at what its body screams is midnight. But the clearing is not dark. It is bathed in the orange sky glow from a city 50 miles away. The deer is jumpy, its senses on high alert. It has not known true deep darkness since it was born. Its ancestors evolved over millions of years to thrive in a world of cycles, but this new world has no cycle. It is one long, unending, stressful day. Some species vanish. The delicate ecosystems built around the patterns of night and day collapse, but life, as it always does, finds a way to adapt. New species begin to emerge, creatures suited to this new reality. Perhaps a new kind of owl evolves, one with eyes less sensitive to light, able to hunt in the perpetual twilight. Maybe squirrels and other foraging animals cease to have a sleeping period altogether, instead entering short, frequent states of torpor, a waking rest to conserve energy before continuing their search for food. The sounds of the wild are different now, a constant low-level hum of activity rather than the distinct symphonies of day and night. But the most profound biological changes have happened to humanity itself. Having shed the need for sleep, our very bodies have been remade. On the surface, we look the same, but inside the machinery is different. The complex biological processes that sleep once governed, memory consolidation, cellular repair, emotional regulation, have been replaced by a new continuous system. And imagine the human brain in this new world. It is a marvel of biological engineering. It never shuts down, but it has developed new ways to avoid being overwhelmed by a continuous stream of consciousness that can last for over a century. Specific neural pathways have evolved to defragment and store memories on the fly, much like a computer organizing its data while still running. Without the nightly reset of sleep, the brain has to be far more efficient at filtering information, at deciding what is important and what can be discarded. Our relationship with energy has changed. Our bodies are incredibly efficient at metabolizing food, wringing every last drop of energy from what we consume to fuel our 24-hour existence. We eat more frequently but in smaller amounts, a pattern known as grazing that keeps our energy levels stable throughout the long day that never ends. We have also aged differently. The promise of a doubled life is real. Without the nightly cellular breakdown and the imperfect repairs that happen during sleep, our bodies hold on to their vitality for much longer. A person of 80 might have the physical agility and appearance of a 40-year-old from our time. But this extended vitality comes with a strange psychological cost. Our minds were not necessarily designed to hold 140 years of continuous waking memories. The sheer weight of lived experience becomes a new kind of burden. And what of dreams, the subconscious landscape where we process our fears, our hopes, our hidden desires? That world is gone entirely. Humanity has lost its collective connection to the surreal, the symbolic, the mysterious inner world of dreams. This has had a profound effect on our psychology. Without dreams to act as a safety valve for emotional pressure, we have had to become far more direct and conscious in how we manage our feelings. Emotional regulation is not an unconscious process anymore. It's a skill that is taught from a very young age, as essential as reading or writing. An unchecked emotional spiral in a mind that is always awake can be a dangerous thing. The human ecosystem, both internal and external, has found a new, strange equilibrium. We have evolved to be constantly on. Our bodies are tireless machines. Our minds are powerful processors of continuous data. But this biological adaptation has created a new kind of fragility. We are robust in our energy, but perhaps more brittle in our spirits. The soft, restorative buffer of sleep is gone, and with it a certain resilience. We are less prone to physical fatigue, but more susceptible to a new condition, consciousness fatigue, a deep existential weariness that comes from being awake for too long, not just for a day or a week, but for decades on end. Life has adapted, yes, the flora, the fauna, and humanity itself have all found ways to exist in this sleepless world. But it is an adaptation born of necessity, a response to a fundamental disruption of a planetary rhythm. It is a life that is optimized for activity, for efficiency, for wakefulness. But in doing so, it has perhaps lost touch with the deeper, quieter currents of rest, recovery, and dreams that once nourished it. And so this new biological reality gives rise to an entirely new kind of society with new rules, new joys, and new unimaginable challenges. Let us now walk among the people of this sleepless world. Let us try to understand the texture of their daily lives, the shape of their new reality. The society they have built is as relentless and full of energy as their own bodies. And the first thing you notice is that the very concept of a day has changed. The 24-hour cycle of the Earth's rotation is still a physical reality, but it has lost its social meaning. There is no morning, no evening, no night. These are just archaic words. Instead, life is organized into fluid blocks of time, personal and professional schedules that are completely detached from the position of the sun. Someone's work day might begin at what we would call 3 a.m., while their neighbors begins at 10 a.m. and another's at 7 p.m. This has profound implications for daily life. A city street is a river of constant motion. Shops, cafes, offices, and theaters are always open. You can buy groceries, get a haircut, visit a museum, or see a live performance at any hour. The world is a 24/7 service economy built to cater to a population that is always active and always consuming. What does a family look like here? The traditional rhythm of a family waking together, sharing a morning meal, and coming back together in the evening is gone. Family life is a complex dance of overlapping schedules. Parents might coordinate their work shifts so that one is always available for the children. Family time is a deliberately scheduled block in the calendar, a cherished island in the stream of constant activity. Children's lives are different too. Schooling is not a monolithic 9 to 3 affair. It's a flexible system of modules with classes available around the clock, both in person and remotely, allowing children to learn at their own pace and at times that fit their family's unique schedule. The world of work has been completely reshaped. The idea of a 40-hour work week seems quaint. With 168 hours available to every person every week, the expectations have shifted. Some people choose to work in concentrated bursts, say a 60-hour week, followed by a 100-hour period of pure leisure. Others work 2 or 3 different part-time jobs, constantly shifting their focus. The economy is one of hyper-productivity. With a workforce that never tires, global output has skyrocketed, but this has also led to a culture of immense pressure. The expectation to be constantly learning, constantly creating, constantly doing is immense. This is where we begin to see the cracks in this sleepless utopia, the very thing the prompt wondered about. What happens when endless energy gets boring? In a world with no forced breaks, no biological need to stop, people have to invent reasons to change their state of being. The feeling of tiredness was once a powerful guide. It told us when to end one chapter and begin another. Without it, how do you decide to stop working and start painting? How do you choose to leave a party and go for a quiet walk? This has led to the rise of new philosophies and social structures. The concept of purposeful voids has become a major cultural movement. People schedule periods of deliberate inactivity into their lives. They might spend 10 hours sitting in a quiet room doing nothing but observing their own thoughts. This isn't meditation for relaxation. It's a conscious act of creating a break in the endless stream of consciousness, a way of forcing a mental reset that the body no longer provides. Boredom has become a luxury, something to be cultivated. In a world of infinite distraction and endless opportunity for activity, choosing to be bored is an act of rebellion. It is in these self-imposed moments of quiet, of boredom, that creativity is rediscovered. New ideas, the ones that come when the mind is allowed to wander freely, are seen as precious resources. Culture and art have also transformed. With no dreams, the world of art has become less surreal, less focused on the subconscious. It is an art of intricate detail, of immense complexity, of grand scale, creations that require tens of thousands of hours of uninterrupted focus. Music has evolved into vast, ever-changing symphonies that can be streamed for days on end, designed to be dipped in and out of. Storytelling has changed too. The novels are immense, spanning thousands of pages, reflecting the long, unbroken lives of their characters. But there is a darker side to this new reality. The constant stimulation has led to a pandemic of anxiety and overstimulation. The pressure to use one's extra time productively is a heavy burden. An entire industry has sprung up around mental hygiene, therapies, technologies, and practices designed to help people cope with the psychological strain of being perpetually conscious. The loss of sleep, the restorative withdrawal from the world, is keenly felt not as a physical need, but as a deep psychological one. We see how people have solved some of these challenges. They have created new social rituals to replace the old rhythm of day and night. They have become masters of time management and conscious relaxation. They are resourceful, creative, and have built a world of breathtaking complexity and efficiency. And yet, as we observe a person standing at their window, looking out over the glowing 24-hour city, we can sense a deep, unspoken melancholy. They have gained a lifetime of extra hours, but they have lost the simple, profound grace of a world that rests. They have conquered the night, but in doing so have banished the stars. They have abolished tiredness, but now must fight a weariness of the soul. This world, born from the simple premise of no longer needing to sleep, is a world of magnificent achievement and quiet, pervasive sorrow. It is a world that has everything except the gift of an ending, the peace of a daily farewell, and the legacy of this choice, the echo it leaves behind, is both a wonder and a warning. As our journey through this sleepless world comes to a close, we take a final, long look, trying to capture the feeling of this strange reality. It is a world of piercing clarity, a world without shadows, without mystery, without the soft, blurry edges of dreams. It is a world of immense, almost overwhelming presence. Everything is illuminated, everything is active, everything is known. And in this total knowing, there is a profound loss of wonder. The feeling is one of relentless momentum. Life here does not flow in a gentle rhythm of waves of rising and falling energy. It is a powerful, straight-flowing river, always moving, always pushing forward. It is thrilling, but it's also exhausting in a way that has nothing to do with physical fatigue. It is the exhaustion of a mind that can never truly turn away from the world, a spirit that can never lay its burdens down. in the soft quiet of the night. If we were to visit this world as archaeologists of a forgotten time, what echoes of sleep would we find? We might find them in the very layout of their ancient cities, in buildings with strange sealed-off rooms that historical records call bedrooms. We would find them in their language, fossil words like dream, nightmare, lullaby, insomnia, whose original meanings are now the subject of academic debate. We would find the echoes in their art, in ancient poems that speak of the beauty of stars, a concept their children struggle to comprehend, in old paintings that capture the deep, quiet colors of dusk and dawn, transient moments that no longer exist in their perpetually lit world. These artifacts would be haunting reminders of a different state of being, a time when humanity shared half its life with the darkness, with rest, with a world of the unseen. The enduring legacy of this world is a powerful paradox. By gaining twice the time, they have in some ways halved the richness of their experience. They have traded depth for duration. It is a world that is infinitely wide, but perhaps not as deep. And now, very gently, it is time for us to begin our journey back. Let the image of that glowing, sleepless city begin to fade from your mind. Feel it recede like a distant star. Let the constant hum of that world grow quiet, replaced by the soft, familiar sounds of your own space. Come back to where you are, right here, right now. Feel the air in your own room. Notice the darkness outside your window. It is not an enemy to be conquered with light, but a friend, a soft blanket for the world, inviting it to rest, to be still. The tiredness you might feel in your body is not a flaw. It is not a waste of time. It is a gift. It is your body's wisdom, telling you that you have lived, you have experienced, you have done enough for one day. We imagined a world of endless energy and found that it might be a world of endless restlessness. We imagined a life doubled in length and found that it might be a life longing for conclusion. We imagined a world without boredom and found that it might be a world without true creativity. To be grateful for the day is a wonderful thing, but perhaps an even deeper gratitude can be found for the night, for the quiet promise of rest, for the release of consciousness, for the mysterious, magical, and deeply necessary world of sleep, where our minds and bodies are renewed and we are made whole again, ready for a new sun. Until then, rest well and let the story keep going in your own dreams.